Yes, sir.
John Hampton, a Council City Guide Examiner for Examiner.com. As part of my official capacity reporting around the city of Huntsville, I covered the aftermath of the April 27 storms. One of my articles was about flooding concerns in this area, and as such, I have pictures on my digital camera that show all routes leading into the Brownsboro Post Office covered in water.
Okay.
And this is, from what I've gathered, I've not been around all my life. I've been here about almost 7 years now. Talked to longtime residents, they say it's a very common thing for Brownsboro Road, as well as Wall Road, which is the two main routes going into the Brownsboro Post Office, to be covered by water when it floods, which is fairly often during spring storms.
Okay.
My question is this, not only as a Ryland citizen, but also as in my official capacity as well, because I'm going to be writing an article about this town hall meeting in the very near future. As official representatives of the post office, do you have, since we're going to be consolidating with Brownsboro if this thing goes through, do you have any type of conciliatory means in place for those 5, 6, 7 days in a row when the post office is inundated by water and people cannot get to it?
If a postal facility is inoperable, every facility has a continuation of operations plan that's in place. I'm not aware that Brownsboro had to implement that, but every facility has a continuation of operations plan. Yes, sir.
Is there a date for the determination of the outcome of when it's scheduled?
No, there's not a date yet. No.
Just find out from our post office?
As it goes through the process, and once we get, if we get an actual approval, that's when it will happen. Let me work on Wayne. Yes, sir?
You stated earlier that you couldn't look at the bottom line of an office when closing it, but the overall fiscal situation of the post office is what's being considered.
Yes.
Is it not true that, was it Title 39 that dictates that an office can't be considered for fiscal reasons? Wasn't that put in place in order to make sure that even small communities where an office does not generate a profit still has service? Was it not meant to make sure that service is spread evenly amongst
Yes.
United States citizens?
That's the gist behind it, yes.
Okay, and on a side note of that, how would consolidating the facility into a bigger facility still maintain the profits that generates? Because it seems to me, if it's a fiscal situation, that if you're consolidating to get rid of the fixed costs, then you would want to maintain the profits of that
Right.
facility. Is that even feasible?
We estimate that part of it, we estimate that we may lose some, but it won't offset the savings. That's what we estimate. It'll be in the results, though, to your point. Yes, sir.
What I just can't get in my head, and I'm just an old country boy here,
Yes, sir.
but I just can't get it in my head where you talk about the savings, but you can't talk about the profit. You know, and I don't know how many of these people would change their boxes from Ryland to anywhere. I don't care where it's at. I know there's a bunch of them that won't.
Okay.
So what you're saying is all these people gonna run over to the next post office and keep open and make it a big profit making situation. I guess now that's the only, we don't want to talk about profit. I hate to talk about that, but you know, that's the bottom line here, I guess. You talk about a business, you have to treat the post office like a business. Well, I don't know a single business that would make, let's just say $50,000 a year profit. That's all, after all the bills are paid, that's profit. And keep a business that's losing $10,000 or $12,000 a year. Now, why would somebody do that? Only the federal government would do that. Only the federal government. I'm sorry about
That's okay.
being food here.
No, your
I just
point is
I don't
duly.
understand what's going on.
It's for the
That's how
record.
they keep losing market share.
That's why we've
We'll
asked
see.
for a change in the regulation.
I don't know way to do just the road, so, hey, you know.
we won't ever go, we put up a post office box, and make it go up on a mailbox, make it go up on the carrier.
Yes, sir.
On the pessimistic side of the view again, if that post office is closed, will there be a drop box set up there?
Our proposal is to maintain a drop box either at the location or somewhere in the immediate vicinity.
The reason I asked that question
Yeah,
is I think everyone is aware, not just this area, but every area, it's not safe to put a bill or anything else in your post office,
your curb line box.
return mailbox.
Yeah.
You put it in your drop box. That post office is used tremendously for that purpose.
Yeah. No, our
That's
intent
my
is to maintain a drop box either at the location or somewhere nearby. And also about the, you talked about the address, if the proposal were to go through, and if the person was to decide to keep the P.O. box, the address stays the same. The last line of identity stays the same, the zip code stays the same, P.O. box number stays the same. Yes, ma'am.
I don't really have a question per se, but personally, out of the business that I'm working in, the times that I try to keep the things out of office, this thing is closer to my office, I don't have time to go and wait 30 minutes in line just to take care of my company business. I pass out the post office anywhere from 2 to 5 times a day. I save my business, I go all the way up here to do my business when I need to take care of company business. I buy my postage here, prior to mail, except I can't go to Madison Lake because the last time I was in there, it was a nightmare. And I will not go back to that place.
Okay.
Whatever. Brownsboro is not convenient. You know, I don't have time to drive to Brownsboro. And there again, if we close Ryland, is Brownsboro going to be able to handle the extra load that we may be forced to take there? And, you know, that's extra time out of my schedule, every 2 to 3 days to take care of my business. You know, the gas over there, you know, it's just an
It's an inconvenience. And your point is that it is much more convenient for you to use Ryland because of the busy Wind Drive office in Ryland is much more convenient. You can get in and get out, get your transactions done. We understand that, absolutely.
What do you keep in mind about Ryland? Ryland is on a Ryland Pike. Okay? It is a very busy thoroughfare. So by choosing another post office where we have some insurance situation or whatever, and go to southern areas and whatever, that would be not a very feasible thing to do the way you have a thoroughfare like Ryland Pike is.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so it doesn't make any difference that it's a small post office.
Okay.
You know, where it doesn't have a whole bunch of post office boxes. It doesn't make any difference because it's busy.
Accessibility and the central location is to your point, and it being on Pike. There was somebody that's hang on. No? Okay, let me go to her and not go to me.
I just want to know, I have a post office box that I live in Mayfield and I would have the office, post office all the time. How can I, if you move the post office box around the road somewhere, how can I set up a lot of post office? And zip code, that's a lot.
We're maintaining the zip code and the last line of identity and the box
But
numbers.
I guess not where I live.
Right. And we have that right now in post offices across the state have different zip codes and different post offices in one facility. That's part of the process that we want to maintain.